Most people stumble through life reacting like startled animals. They flinch at insults. They tremble under pressure. They chase approval like a traveler chasing mirages in the desert. But a few, very few, learn a different art. The art of staying cold when others panic. The art of reading intentions hidden behind polished smiles. The art of appearing harmless while building invisible empires. This video is for that rare kind, the kind who refuses to be someone else's puppet. The kind who would rather shape fate than wait for it to land like hail. Machiavelli never promised comfort. He promised clarity, the kind that burns illusions to ash. He taught that the world is not ruled by who is good, or fair, or kind, but by those who understand how humans truly behave, not how they pretend to behave. If you master these lessons, you become something dangerous. A person who sees the scaffolding behind the chaos, a strategist who cannot be manipulated because you understand manipulation from the inside out, a thinker who moves quietly, calculates deeply, and strikes only when the outcome is inevitable. You'll learn why revealing nothing makes people reveal everything. Why emotional neutrality is the deadliest form of strength. Why the ones who win are not the strongest, but the most prepared. These are not lessons for the timid. They are for those who want to rise above the noise. Become unreadable, unshakable, strategically untouchable. If you apply what you're about to learn, you will not walk through life the same way again. People will feel it. They will sense the shift, the stillness in your presence, the calculation in your silence, the certainty in your movement. They won't know what changed, but they will know something did. Welcome to the transformation. Welcome to Machiavelli's dark classroom. Power does not shatter in a single blow. It seeps away, drip by drip, word by word, reaction by reaction. The moment you expose too much of your inner world, you hand others the blueprint to manipulate you. And once someone knows your fears, your desires, your vulnerabilities, or even the shape of your ambition, you are no longer a strategist. You are a predictable mechanism waiting to be reprogrammed. Machiavelli observed this with surgical precision. Rulers do not fall because their enemies are strong. They fall because their enemies know too much. Knowledge of your inner workings is a weapon, and the wise never hand weapons to potential adversaries. This lesson is not about deception. It is about selective disclosure, the disciplined art of revealing only what serves your position while concealing what compromises it. Imagine your mind as a citadel. Every open gate is an invitation. Every sealed passage is protection. Most people walk through life with all gates flung wide. They vent to strangers. They overshare in group chats. They announce goals before laying foundations. They confess weaknesses hoping for empathy. But empathy is not guaranteed. Exploitation is. Power rewards the silent architect. There is strength in being unreadable, not for spectacle, but for strategy. When people cannot decode your motives, they cannot sabotage them. When they cannot predict your next move, they cannot block your path. When they cannot interpret your emotional state, they cannot manipulate it. You become a walking enigma, and enigmas unsettle people. Unease breeds caution. Caution creates space, and space is where you gain control. This principle inverts the typical dynamic. Instead of speaking to be understood, you observe to understand. Instead of confessing your doubts, you watch others reveal theirs. Instead of announcing your plans, you study who reacts and how. You let them overshare while you under-reveal. And you'd be astonished how quickly people give themselves away when they cannot read you. Silence is not emptiness, it is a mirror. When you hold it up, people project their intentions onto it. Some reveal fear. Some reveal envy. Some reveal hidden ambition. Some reveal quiet loyalty, but they reveal. Always, Machiavelli insisted that a prudent person should say far less than they know. He understood the human mind recoils from uncertainty. When someone cannot read you, they lean in harder. They probe, they over-explain. And in that effort, they expose their own agendas. You gain intelligence at zero cost. The person who speaks the least learns the most. This also fortifies your emotional integrity. Most people react instantly: anger, frustration, excitement, desperation. Those reactions are vulnerabilities broadcast in real time. The unreadable individual holds neutrality, like a blade kept sheathed, no flicker of irritation, no flash of eagerness, no tell in the eyes. When you disclose nothing, you give others no leverage. Your emotional opacity becomes armor. People fear what they cannot anticipate, respect what they cannot sway, and hesitate around what they cannot decode. There is a quiet dominance in a calm face and a controlled tongue. But here is the deeper truth. You are not just hiding from manipulators. You are training yourself to detach from external validation. You are becoming someone who acts from strategy, not impulse, from intention, not habit. To master this, adopt 3 shifts. First, reveal thoughts slowly, only when necessary. Every truth carries a strategic cost. Pay only when the return outweighs the risk. Second, listen twice as much as you speak. Every silence is a spotlight that exposes another person's nature. Third, let actions express what words conceal. You remain unpredictable. Your results speak with undeniable volume. When you stop revealing everything, you stop bleeding power. You become the observer, the architect, the unseen variable. And in a world built on noise, the silent strategist is the most dangerous presence of all. In the theater of power, emotions are not feelings, they are levers. Whoever pulls them controls the outcome. And the person whose emotions shift with every comment, every glance, every slight, becomes the easiest to predict, manipulate, and ultimately defeat. Machiavelli understood this with ruthless clarity. The one who stays calm when others heat up becomes the silent ruler of the room. Most people live as emotional puppets. Their anger ignites with a single insult. Their fear swells with a whispered threat. Their pride inflates or shatters with a compliment. Their desire redirects with a tempting offer. This fragility is why they lose. To Machiavelli, emotion was not the enemy. Inconsistency was. A mind that breaks under pressure becomes a liability to itself. A heart that jumps toward pleasure or fear becomes a chain. Others tug at will. When you let emotions dictate your decisions, you surrender the throne inside yourself. The world is full of invisible provocateurs, people who test your reactions to map your weaknesses. If anger rises too fast, they'll use it. If loneliness makes you cling, they'll exploit it. If ego makes you reckless, they'll feed it. If doubt paralyzes you, they'll amplify it. This is why emotional control is not about suppression. It is about removing the handles others can grab. A person with no emotional handles becomes difficult to steer. A person with no emotional leaks becomes hard to attack. A person with no emotional tells becomes impossible to predict. Your neutrality becomes a battlefield advantage. Picture 2 commanders. One flinches at every setback, celebrates every small win too loudly, takes every challenge personally. The other watches, calculates, adjusts, remains grounded. The first is tossed by events, the second shapes them. War bows not to passion, it bows to precision. This applies to life just as ruthlessly. When you master your internal world, you no longer panic at uncertainty. You no longer chase approval. You no longer fracture when affection is withdrawn or pressure applied. You move like a strategist, slow to react, fast to analyze. That stillness is not passivity, it is supremacy. Emotional control sharpens your perception. Because you see people as they are, not through the fog of your own reactions, it strengthens your decisions. Because you choose from clarity, not impulse, it makes you more unpredictable. Because no one can tell whether their words touched you or bounced off your armor. And here is the hidden gift. Your calm makes others reveal their chaos. When you don't react, people grow uneasy. They keep talking, they over-explain, they justify, they confess, they expose their motives out of discomfort. Your silence becomes an interrogation. Your calm becomes a mirror that reflects their insecurity. Machiavelli would call this covert advantage, gaining power without displaying aggression. You dominate without argument. You win without visible conflict. You navigate every situation like someone who owns the map while everyone else wanders in the fog. But emotional control is not suppression, it is orientation. You feel everything, you just don't obey everything. You don't let anger make decisions, you don't let fear dictate movement. You don't let desire trap your loyalty, you don't let sadness rewrite your worth. Emotion exists, it simply does not rule. To master this, adopt 3 disciplines. First, pause before reaction. Silence is a weapon. Use it to analyze the intention behind the stimulus. Second, train emotional detachment. Respond to situations, not provocations. Clarity over impulse. Third, convert emotion into information. Every feeling reveals something, a weakness, a need, or a hidden strategy. In the end, the calm mind becomes the throne room where power sits. The unstable mind becomes the prison where weakness lives. Control your emotion, or someone else will. Machiavelli understood one truth. Most still resist. Human beings lie with their mouths, but they confess with their patterns. Words are costumes, actions are the unmasked face beneath. This is the lesson many avoid, because it demands the collapse of comforting illusions. They want to believe promises, speeches, apologies, declarations of loyalty. They want to believe change happens because someone said it would. They want to believe affection guarantees integrity. They want to believe emotional moments erase behavioral history. But Machiavelli steps in and shatters those illusions with a single blade. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you actually are. People announce their version of themselves, but they demonstrate their reality. The person who apologizes but repeats the same behavior hasn't changed. They've simply upgraded their excuse. The person who promises loyalty but vanishes when you need them was never loyal. They were comfortable, not committed. The person who claims moral purity but harms quietly isn't ethical. They're skilled at impression management. Your task is not to analyze what people say. Your task is to chart their pattern. Speech is temporary. Apology is cheap. Actions are the long-term ledger that exposes truth. This lesson becomes a weapon. When internalized, you stop reacting to emotional performances. You stop forgiving based on tears or tone. You stop giving second chances to first offenses repeated. You start seeing people as Machiavelli wanted rulers to see them, as creatures of habit, not intention. People rarely act against their nature. When they do, it's brief, and usually when watched. This is why powerful people observe in silence. They don't challenge, they don't confront immediately, they don't warn others of what they've noticed. They simply collect data, the way a hunter studies footprints. If someone lies once, they establish capability. If they lie twice, they establish character. If they lie 3 times, they establish identity. The pattern is the truth. And this applies to yourself. Your own actions reveal your true priorities. Your habits reveal your discipline. Your repeated choices expose your mindset. You cannot claim to value power while acting powerless. You cannot claim to value growth while feeding stagnation. Machiavelli would say, "Don't judge yourself by your intentions. Judge yourself by what you consistently do." This understanding turns your life into a map. People become readable. Motives become transparent. Loyalty becomes measurable. The friend who says they support you but never shows up has spoken. The partner who apologizes but repeats the mistake has spoken. The co-worker who flatters you but undermines you has spoken. The stranger who respects your boundaries without negotiation has also spoken. Every action is a message. Most people just don't listen. When you begin to trust patterns, something powerful happens. Your circle shrinks but strengthens. Your clarity expands but sharpens. Your tolerance decreases, but your standards soar. You stop falling for emotional manipulation. You stop rewarding inconsistency. You stop living in narratives people create with words instead of reality. Your world becomes quieter, cleaner, sharper, because you no longer allow noise disguised as intention. Machiavelli's instruction is not cold cynicism. It's survival through observation. Judge people by their actions. Ignore what they claim to be. Study what they repeatedly show you. Patterns never lie. Only people do. Most people walk into life with one plan, hope. They don't call it that. They call it confidence, intuition, or faith in the process. But strip away the poetry, and what remains is a fragile fantasy that everything will unfold as imagined. Machiavelli would smirk at that kind of thinking. He knew reality is not a polite servant. It bends to pressure, not optimism. Power does not reward the hopeful. Power rewards the prepared. The world is unpredictable because people are unpredictable. Their moods shift, their loyalties change, their opportunities come and go like passing weather. A strategy built on a single path is a strategy begging to collapse. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to always prepare more than one route, not because fear governs them, but because flexibility protects them. A single plan is a chain. 2 plans create options. 3 plans make you untouchable. Most people misunderstand preparation. They think it means caution or fear. But in the Machiavellian world, preparation is covert dominance. When you have backup plans, you walk differently. Your confidence is quieter, heavier, more rooted. You don't cling to outcomes, you orchestrate them. A person with only one plan becomes emotional when it fails. A person with 2 plans becomes strategic when the first collapses. A person with 3 plans becomes dangerous because failure doesn't threaten them, it redirects them. Life bends for those who cannot be cornered. Consider this. The reason many panic under pressure isn't because the situation is impossible, it's because they have no alternative path. They feel trapped, and trapped minds lose clarity. But when you're prepared, pressure becomes irrelevant. If plan alpha breaks, you pivot to plan beta. If plan beta slows, you slide into plan gamma. While others drown in improvisation, you move with intention. This creates a psychological advantage Machiavelli valued deeply: you appear lucky. But luck is just preparation meeting chaos at the right moment. People will think you always figure things out. But they won't see the structure beneath your calm. They'll admire your ability to survive what crushes others. They'll call you resilient, brilliant, adaptable. But the truth is simpler. You refuse to depend on a single outcome. In power dynamics, this is lethal. Because the person with only one plan can be manipulated, threaten their path, and you control their behavior. But the person with multiple routes cannot be coerced. They are slippery, ungraspable, unmanageable. Backup plans make you psychologically invincible. This applies everywhere, in relationships. If someone believes you cannot leave, they control the tempo. If you have options, you control your stability. In career, if one opportunity fails, you're not desperate. You move to the next quietly. In negotiation, if the other side thinks you need the deal, they bleed you. If you have alternatives, you dictate the terms. Preparing multiple paths turns you into someone who moves without desperation. And desperation is the scent predators track. Remove it, and you remove the leverage others seek. There's also a deeper transformation. Backups don't just protect you. They reshape your identity. You start thinking like a strategist, not a gambler. You start moving like a planner, not a reactor. You stop relying on the world to behave and start preparing for when it doesn't. Machiavelli would tell you, a ruler without a fallback is a ruler waiting to be overthrown. So build paths beneath your feet before you walk them. Prepare doors before the walls close. Carry options like hidden blades. When others expect you to crumble, you pivot. When others think they've blocked you, you shift. When life tries to corner you, you simply walk through another exit because you were wise enough to build it. Loyalty is not born from love, morality, or shared ideals. That's the lie most tell themselves. Loyalty is born from incentive, from structure, from the quiet calculation that staying aligned with you is more beneficial than betraying you. Machiavelli understood this with brutal clarity. People follow advantage, not intention. People follow gain, not gratitude. People follow security, not sentiment. A ruler who depends on affection to maintain loyalty is already doomed. Affection changes. Incentives survive. This lesson teaches a principle so simple and so uncomfortable that most resist it. If loyalty has no reward, it dissolves. If betrayal has no consequence, it multiplies. People follow the gravity of outcomes. Most individuals grant loyalty freely to friends, partners, colleagues, family. They believe goodwill guarantees reciprocity, but goodwill without structure eventually breeds entitlement. When you give endlessly without shaping the terms, loyalty becomes optional. People begin to believe your support is automatic, your forgiveness is expected, and your patience is infinite. In Machiavellian strategy, loyalty is not kindness, it's currency. You invest it where it grows, and you withdraw it the moment it decays. Reward loyalty not with cliches, but with real advantage. Access, opportunity, priority, protection, information, trust. People stay close to those who elevate their position. They drift from those who only elevate their emotions. This is not manipulation, it's architecture. You are building a world where loyalty has weight. And while you reward loyalty generously, you must do the opposite with betrayal. Make it unforgettable. Not through rage, not through chaos, not through dramatics, through certainty. The consequence must be so absolute, so cold, and so quiet that the memory of it becomes a psychological wall. Others think twice before crossing. Machiavelli advised rulers to address betrayal with finality, not because of vengeance, but because of precedent. Once people see that disloyalty results in loss, exclusion, or isolation, they self-regulate, they behave. They choose alignment not because of love, but because of fear of cost. You are not punishing a person. You are teaching the room there's a deeper truth here. When betrayal goes unpunished, it sends a message that you are safe to exploit. When loyalty goes unrewarded, it sends another message that your effort is invisible. Both messages rot power from the inside. Reward and consequence create psychological boundaries that protect your influence. People start calculating their actions the way Machiavelli wanted all rulers to force their subjects to calculate. What do I gain? What do I lose? What happens next? And the moment people must think before acting against you, you've already won. You've extended your control from the external world into their internal world. They carry your consequences inside their choices. This also refines your circle. When loyalty is rewarded, pretenders expose themselves. They want the reward, not the relationship. When betrayal is punished, opportunists scatter. They want access without accountability. What remains are the few who understand structure. These are the people you keep close. Not because they love you, but because they respect the architecture you enforce. And here is the Machiavellian core. Respect sustains power far longer than affection ever will. So build your world like this. Reward loyalty with precision. Punish betrayal with certainty. Make it profitable to stand beside you. Make it costly to stand against you. Make it impossible to forget what disloyalty costs, not through cruelty, but through clarity. A world without consequences collapses. A world without rewards starves. Your world must do neither. It must reinforce itself with balance sharp enough to guide everyone around you. Reward royalty, weaponize consequence, and watch how your influence stabilizes, not through force, but through structure. There is an old power trick whispered in the darker chambers of strategy. The person who looks harmless moves through the world like a breeze, but plans like a storm. This principle is the fusion of paradox. The gentle exterior is not weakness. It is camouflage, a velvet curtain hiding an iron theater of calculations. You greet the world with warm tonal colors, easy smiles, the rhythm of someone who wants no trouble. Meanwhile, inside, your mind is tracking patterns, motives, blind spots, and leverage points, with the discipline of a seasoned general charting maps under moonlight. Why does this work? Because most people judge by flavor, not substance. They respond to tone before logic. When you enter a room with a soft presence, people place you in the non-threat category, and this is where the doors of opportunity quietly unlock. In this category, you can move through emotional barricades without triggering alarms. You hear real conversations. You witness true intentions. You gain access to information. Others guard behind pride or paranoia. Your gentleness becomes a key. Your silence becomes a listening device. Your calmness becomes a mirror in which others reveal themselves. But beneath that softness, your thinking must be cold and structured. Like a general, you calculate every terrain, who dominates the room, who needs validation, who underestimates you, which alliances are possible, and which are traps. Where can a small move shift the balance of power entirely? This is not manipulation, this is battlefield awareness, in a life where everyone is already playing their own version of chess, some openly, some unconsciously, some aggressively. You are simply choosing to see the board with clarity instead of wandering on it blindly. A general does not win every battle by force. The best generals win through preparation, timing, and perception. They know when to advance, when to retreat, and when to let the enemy defeat themselves. You practice the same discipline. You avoid unnecessary confrontations because your goal is to win the long game, not the ego game. Gentleness frees you from becoming predictable. You don't broadcast ambition. You don't leak intentions. You don't create unnecessary rivals. Your softness acts like fog. It blurs your deeper trajectory. People focus on what they think you are, not what you're becoming. Meanwhile, your strategy grows quietly, almost invisibly, until it's strong enough to reveal itself only when the outcome is already secured. To appear gentle is to move through human networks without friction. People cooperate more with someone who seems approachable. They share ideas. They lower their guard. They underestimate you. And underestimation is the silent throne from which many rulers rise. But this principle is also a warning. Never confuse your gentle exterior with your internal discipline. If your softness becomes real weakness, you turn into prey. The power lies in the contrast: warm face, sharp mind, open body language, guarded strategy, friendly tone, calculated decisions. Without the strategic backbone, gentleness collapses into naivety. Without gentleness, strategy becomes too loud to function. Master the interplay. Float like a feather in presence. Operate like an architect in thought. Let others see the surface of a quiet lake, while underneath, your currents are steering everything toward your chosen shore. This is influence without noise, ambition without exposure, power without unnecessary war. This is how a true general survives the world of appearances, by mastering their own. Every day, the world invites you into pointless battles, petty arguments, ego traps, emotional tug-of-wars, and dramas disguised as urgent. Most people leap into these skirmishes like moths charging a lantern, burning their time, their focus, and their dignity for nothing more than the illusion of winning. But you are not here to win noise. You are here to win territory, and territory is only gained through purposeful conflict. This is the rule carved into the bones of every strategist. If a battle doesn't advance your position, refuse it, even if you could win easily. Especially if you could win easily, small victories drain great empires. Great victories build silent ones. The difference is intention. To master this principle, you must first accept a truth that bruises many egos. Your energy is not infinite. Your emotions, attention, and willpower are not bottomless wells. They are resources. And in the private economy of your destiny, you are both the bank and the investor. Every argument you join, every rivalry you entertain, every insult you respond to, it all costs you something. Ask yourself, what return does this battle give me? What vision does this fight move me closer to? If the answer is none, then the only strategic move is silence. A general does not waste troops proving he can win. He deploys them only when the victory reshapes the future. You must do the same. Most conflicts are invitations to distraction, disguised as opportunities for validation. Someone challenges your pride. Let them. Someone misunderstands you. Let them. Someone gossips, complains, provokes, or tries to drag you into a circus. Let them juggle alone. Your purpose is not to correct small minds. Your purpose is to outgrow their arenas entirely. Here's the secret. Walking away from a meaningless battle is not weakness. It is resource management. It is psychological budgeting. It is the art of keeping your war chest full for the battles that actually matter, the ones that alter your trajectory, expand your options, deepen your power, or protect your long-term vision. Momentum is built through focus, and focus is kept through selective engagement. When you decline unimportant battles, something remarkable happens. Your clarity sharpens, your reputation matures, your emotional stability becomes a force field. Your influence grows, because powerful people don't react, they choose. The world starts to treat you differently. People realize your attention is valuable. Your presence becomes deliberate. You stop appearing in petty dramas. So your actions begin to carry weight. Every move feels intentional. Every word feels measured. You evolve from participant to architect. But there is another layer. Some battles are traps. They are designed to exhaust you before you reach the battlefield that truly matters. Life will test your ability to stay focused by throwing you distractions wrapped in outrage. If you don't master restraint, you will spend your strength fighting ghosts while real opportunities pass unnoticed. And then there are the battles that do advance you, the ones that shape your character, grow your resilience, or open a new path forward. These are the ones worth entering with full force, clear mind, and ruthless commitment. Know the difference, because in the end, power does not belong to the loudest warrior. It belongs to the quiet strategist who understands that energy is the currency of destiny. And every wasted drop delays the empire they are building. Choose battles that build you. Refuse battles that drain you. This is how you rise. When the final lesson ends, there is always a quieter battlefield waiting, the one inside you. The world won't clap. The world won't warn you. The world will simply move, subtly and relentlessly. And you must decide whether you will move with purpose or be moved by others. This closing line is not a flourish. It is a verdict, a reminder that every day you awaken inside a game that existed long before you and will continue long after you. Some rise to the level of player. Most remain pieces without ever realizing they were being moved. You must choose your side. To play with cold intention is to navigate life with clarity that slices through illusions. It means you don't drift, you don't wander. You don't leave your fate open to chance, opinions, moods, whims, or the tides of others' desires. You become deliberate, measured, unshakably anchored in the map you draw for yourself. Cold intention is not cruelty. It is precision. A mind tuned to the frequency of strategy, a heart protected, not hardened, a path carved, not inherited. The opposite is becoming a piece, a pawn in someone else's ambition, a follower in someone else's story, a placeholder in someone else's plan. Life has no patience for the unplanned. If you forget your direction, someone else will give you theirs. If you don't build your identity, the world will assign you one. If you fail to protect your power, those who need it will harvest it from you, gently, quietly, strategically. That is the silent cruelty of existence. People rarely steal power loudly. They borrow it with your permission. You become a piece the moment you stop choosing. Look around. Most people drift through their years like unattended ships. Their emotions steer them. Their habits betray them. Their fears negotiate for them. Their past chains them. Their environment programs them. And while their attention bleeds into noise, someone else, sharper, more focused, more intentional, is arranging the board. You must not be that person. Your story must not be that passive. To live with cold intention is to hold a quiet, burning awareness of the game around you. It means you study people, not react to them. You observe patterns, not chase chaos. You position yourself where outcomes bend in your favor. You speak only when it moves the narrative forward. Every decision is a move. Every silence is a shield. Every step is a strategy. You shift from being shaped by the world to shaping the world around you, but intention alone is not enough. It must be cold, meaning calm, unblinking, detached from ego, fire blinds. Ice clarifies. Cold intention means you do not rush. You do not show desperation. You do not reveal your desires prematurely. You do not let impulses leak power. You move with the stillness of someone who knows exactly what they want and exactly what they will not tolerate. And when you operate this way, something remarkable happens. The game begins to bend, not instantly. Not magically, but inevitably. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Chaos slows around you. People respect you without understanding why. The world stops feeling random. It begins to feel designed, because it is. You become the designer. Or you remain the designed, because every board has players and pieces. Every system has architects and occupants. Every empire has builders and bricks. And life is merciless to the unintentional. So let this closing line echo long after the video ends. Play the game with cold intention, or become a piece on someone else's board. Your power is not taken. It is traded every time you move without purpose. Step into tomorrow as the strategist, not the casualty. Your story deserves an architect. Let it be you.